Wrestling legend Hulk Hogan has died. His manager told NBC Los Angeles that Hogan died surrounded by his family in Clearwater, Florida this morning. He was 71 years old.
What you're about to see will shock you to your core. New Bodycam footage has just surfaced showing the final moments of wrestling legend Hulk Hogan's life, and the details are absolutely devastating. This isn't just another celebrity death story. This is raw, unfiltered footage that captures the end of an era, and it's revealing shocking truths about how the Hulkster really died. The wrestling world is in complete chaos right now, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this footage has divided fans and ignited a firestorm across social media. I'm about to break down everything, the disturbing details in the footage, the controversial circumstances surrounding his death, and the explosive reactions that are tearing the wrestling community apart. Trust me, this is not what anyone expected. The date was July 24th, 2025, a day that will forever be etched in wrestling history as the day the immortal Hulk Hogan became mortal. But what happened in those final moments, captured on Bodycam footage that's now going viral, tells a story that's both heartbreaking and controversial. Today, I'm going to walk you through the shocking details of this footage, reveal the explosive reactions from wrestling legends and political figures, and uncover the complex legacy of a man who lived his entire life in the spotlight. We'll explore how a fat, insecure teenager from Florida became a global icon, the scandals that nearly destroyed him, and the redemption story that defined his final years. This is the complete, unfiltered truth about Hulk Hogan's death and the viral footage that's changing everything. The footage that's currently breaking the internet is unlike anything we've ever seen in celebrity death coverage, and it's absolutely devastating to watch. Picture this. It's 9:51 a.m. on July 24th, 2025, in Clearwater, Florida. Emergency responders are racing against time as they respond to a cardiac arrest call at Hulk Hogan's suburban home. What makes this footage so shocking isn't just what it shows, it's the raw, unfiltered reality of watching a legend's final moments unfold in real time. The Bodycam footage, estimated to be between 10 to 30 seconds long, was reportedly filmed by a neighbor or bystander using a smartphone from across the street. The video quality is shaky and handheld, but the details are crystal clear and absolutely heartbreaking. You can see 4 to 6 paramedics and EMTs surrounding a stretcher, desperately working to save the wrestling icon's life. The scene is illuminated by flashing emergency lights from multiple police vehicles, creating an almost surreal backdrop against Hogan's typical Florida suburban residence. But here's what's truly disturbing about this footage. You can see the responders aggressively performing chest compressions on Hogan as they wheel the stretcher toward the waiting ambulance. His massive, unmistakable frame is partially covered by a sheet or blanket, but there are no signs of movement from the Hulkster. None! The man who once body-slammed Andre the Giant in front of 93,000 screaming fans lies completely unresponsive, and you can feel the desperation in every chest compression the paramedics perform. The 911 dispatch audio, which was also released by authorities and obtained by TMZ, provides the chilling soundtrack to this tragedy.
Rescue 46, LR45, Engine 46, Fire Attack Bravo. Fire Attack Bravo, Rescue 46, LR45, Engine 46, cardiac arrest.
In a brief, approximately 20-second clip, you can hear operators dispatching medics for cardiac arrest at Hogan's address. The clinical, matter-of-fact tone of the dispatch operators creates a stark contrast to the emotional weight of what's actually happening, the end of an era. What makes this footage even more controversial is how it first surfaced. The video initially appeared on social media platforms, particularly TikTok, before being picked up by major news outlets including TMZ, OK Magazine, and the New York Post. The reaction from social media users has been explosive and divided. Many are calling the filming invasive and disrespectful, with users labeling the neighbors who recorded it as scumbags for capturing such a private, tragic moment. Despite the paramedics' heroic efforts captured in this footage, Hulk Hogan was pronounced dead at Morton Plant Hospital at 11:17 a.m., marking the end of a life that had defined professional wrestling for decades. The footage serves as a stark reminder that even our larger-than-life heroes are ultimately human, and it sparked intense debates about privacy, respect, and the ethics of filming such intimate moments of tragedy. The moment news of Hulk Hogan's death broke, the wrestling world didn't just mourn. It erupted in an outpouring of emotion that revealed just how deeply the Hulkster had impacted everyone he touched. These weren't just polite corporate statements or obligatory social media posts. These were raw, heartfelt tributes from men who had shared the ring, the road, and the brotherhood of professional wrestling with the Immortal One. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy himself, was absolutely devastated, and his tribute revealed the depth of their friendship that went far beyond the wrestling business. Flair's statement was deeply personal and emotional. "I am absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend Hulk Hogan. Hulk has been by my side since we started in the wrestling business. An incredible athlete, talent, friend, and father. Our friendship has meant the world to me." But here's what really shows the kind of man Hogan was behind the scenes. Flair revealed that Hogan was one of the first to visit him when he was in the hospital with only a 2% chance of living, praying by his bedside. Even more touching, Hogan lent Flair money when his son Reed was sick, showing a generosity and loyalty that the public rarely saw. Triple H, now the head of creative for WWE, recognized something that many fans might not fully appreciate. WWE literally would not exist as we know it today without Hulk Hogan. In his tribute, Triple H noted that WWE's success was built on larger-than-life characters, and few, if any, loomed larger than Terry Hulk Hogan Bollea. He described Hogan as the archetype of what it meant to be a superstar, emphasizing that Hogan wasn't just a wrestler, he was a global sensation who inspired millions of people around the world. Shawn Michaels added his voice to this chorus of tributes with words that perfectly captured Hogan's impact: a legend, a larger-than-life presence. Hulk Hogan didn't just work in this business, he transformed it. Rest in peace, Hulkster. This wasn't hyperbole, this was the truth. Hogan didn't just participate in professional wrestling, he fundamentally changed what it meant to be a wrestling superstar. But the tributes extended far beyond the wrestling world, reaching into the highest levels of American politics and entertainment. President Donald Trump, who had maintained a decades-long friendship with Hogan, issued a moving statement that revealed their personal bond. "We lost a great friend today, the Hulkster." Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way. Strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. Trump specifically mentioned Hogan's electric speech at the Republican National Convention, calling it one of the highlights of the entire week. Even Hollywood remembered the Hulkster. Sylvester Stallone, who worked with Hogan in Rocky III, shared his memories of meeting this brilliant personality and showman when he was 26 years old, describing him as absolutely wonderful and crediting Hogan's amazing skill with making Rocky III incredibly special. These tributes painted a picture of a man who transcended wrestling to become a true cultural icon. Here's something that will absolutely blow your mind about Hulk Hogan. The man who became the ultimate symbol of American strength and confidence started as a fat, insecure teenager who was so self-conscious about his body that he wouldn't even take his shirt off at the beach. This transformation from Terry Bollea to Hulk Hogan is one of the most incredible success stories in entertainment history, and it all began with a simple desire to avoid working a real job. Picture this, a young Terry Bollea in Clearwater, Florida, attending Robinson High School and later the University of South Florida, living just minutes from beautiful beaches but too embarrassed about his weight to enjoy them. In his own words, he was a very fat kid that was afraid to take his shirt off. This wasn't the larger-than-life superhero that millions would come to worship. This was just a regular kid dealing with insecurity and trying to figure out his place in the world. But here's where Terry's story gets interesting. He had something that money couldn't buy: ambition and an absolute determination to avoid the conventional path. His journey to stardom began not in a wrestling ring but on a stage, playing bass guitar in a band called Ruckus that gained local popularity in the Tampa Bay area. And get this, the kid was making serious money for the 1970s, pulling in $300 to $400 a week when his friends were breaking their backs at McDonald's for $2.50 an hour. As Hogan himself put it, I was doing anything to avoid working a real job. The transition from musician to wrestler happened almost by accident, but it would change the course of entertainment history. Hogan began his wrestling career in 1977, training under the legendary hero Matsuda, who famously broke his leg on the first day to test his resolve. Talk about trial by fire. He wrestled under various names like Terry Boulder and Sterling Golden before adopting the Hulk Hogan moniker after a 1978 TV appearance where he outshone Lou Ferrigno, the star of The Incredible Hulk. But the real breakthrough came when Hogan caught the attention of Vince McMahon Sr. and later his son, Vince McMahon Jr. when Hogan signed with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now WWE, in December 1983. Everything changed. His all-American persona, complete with red and yellow attire, bandanas, and that iconic horseshoe mustache, transformed him into a cultural phenomenon that transcended wrestling. The explosion happened on January 23, 1984, when Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik for the WWF Championship at Madison Square Garden. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. The Iron Sheik was actually the real bodyguard for the Shah of Iran, and at that time, Iran was holding 444 American hostages. So you had this real American hero, Hulk Hogan, going against what represented America's enemies. When he won, Hulkamania didn't just begin, it exploded like a nuclear bomb across the entertainment world, bringing in celebrities like Cyndi Lauper, MTV coverage, Liberace, Muhammad Ali, and every major celebrity who wanted to be part of this incredible phenomenon. Just when you thought Hulk Hogan's story couldn't get more dramatic, the man who built his entire career on being the ultimate good guy underwent one of the most shocking transformations in entertainment history, and then faced scandals that would have destroyed lesser men. This is where the Hulkster's story gets really intense, and it reveals the complex reality behind the larger-than-life persona. In 1996, Hogan did something that absolutely nobody saw coming. The ultimate American hero, the man who taught millions of children to train, say their prayers, and eat their vitamins, suddenly became Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the most hated villain in wrestling. Leading the New World Order, NWO, stable, Hogan spray-painted championship belts, acted like the biggest bad guy in wrestling, and completely shattered everything his character had represented. But here's the crazy part, the more evil and horrible he became, the more people cheered him. As Hogan himself said, "The worse I got and the nastier I got and the meaner I got and the evil as I could be, the people cheered me." This transformation proved Hogan's incredible understanding of entertainment and his willingness to completely reinvent himself when necessary. He won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship 6 times, with his first reign being the longest in the title's history. But this career renaissance would eventually be overshadowed by personal scandals that threatened to destroy everything he had built. The earthquake that shook Hogan's world to its very foundation came in July 2015 when leaked audio from a 2007 sex tape surfaced, revealing him using racial slurs during a private conversation about his daughter Brooke's dating life. This wasn't just some random outburst, this was recorded evidence that contradicted everything the heroic Hulk Hogan character represented. Additional recordings surfaced, including jailhouse phone calls from 2008 between Hogan and his son Nick, where Hogan used racial slurs again, proving this wasn't just a one-time mistake. The fallout was absolutely catastrophic. WWE immediately removed Hogan from their Hall of Fame. He lost endorsement deals, was removed as a judge on WWE's Tough Enough after just 5 episodes, and his public appearances were severely limited. For a man whose entire career was built on being the ultimate good guy, this fall from grace seemed impossible to recover from. But the racism scandal wasn't the only controversy rocking Hogan's world. The sex tape scandal that preceded it was equally devastating. In October 2012, Gawker Media published a clip of a 2007 sex tape featuring Hogan and Heather Clem, secretly recorded without Hogan's knowledge by her husband, radio personality Bubba the Love Sponge. This complete violation of trust by someone Hogan considered a close friend led to a landmark legal battle. The jury's verdict was absolutely stunning. they awarded Hogan $140 million in total damages. The massive verdict led to Gawker Media's bankruptcy and eventual sale, effectively ending one of the internet's most controversial media outlets. However, the personal cost was enormous, contributing to the end of his marriage to Jennifer McDaniel and creating a rift with his daughter Brooke that lasted until his death. Despite facing scandals that would have permanently destroyed most public figures, Hulk Hogan's final chapter became one of the most compelling redemption stories in entertainment history. This wasn't just about public relations or damage control. This was about a man genuinely trying to make amends for his mistakes and find peace in his final years. Hogan's response to the racism scandal was immediate and heartfelt. In his statement to People magazine, he said, "8 years ago, I used offensive language during a conversation. It was unacceptable for me to have used that offensive language. There's no excuse for it, and I apologize for having done it. This is not who I am." But Hogan didn't just apologize, he took action. He worked extensively with young people to educate them about his mistakes, participated in diversity programs, and made genuine efforts to understand the impact of his words. The wrestling community's response was mixed but ultimately showed the power of forgiveness. Booker T and Mark Henry accepted Hogan's apology, with Booker T stating he forgave him for the sake of moving forward. In fact, Booker T shared a fascinating story that revealed Hogan's character. Despite the controversial comments, Hogan had never tried to get him fired or treated him poorly in their professional interactions. This showed that Hogan's actions often contradicted his private words. Perhaps the most significant step in Hogan's redemption journey came through his renewed commitment to Christianity. On December 20th, 2023, Hulk Hogan and his wife, Sky Daly, were baptized at Indian Rocks Baptist Church in Largo, Florida. Hogan shared this moment on social media, writing, "Total surrender and dedication to Jesus is the greatest day of my life. No worries, no hate, no judgment, only love." This public profession of faith was seen by many as a genuine transformation, not just a publicity stunt. Hogan's charitable work throughout his career also demonstrated his genuine desire to give back. He was named the most requested celebrity of the 1980s for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, granting wishes for children with life-threatening illnesses. His charitable efforts included supporting the American Diabetes Association, co-founding the Dream Seeker Foundation to provide educational resources for Native American children, and being inducted into the Boys and Girls Clubs of America Alumni Hall of Fame in 2018. His political evolution also showed a man who wasn't afraid to stand by his convictions. From supporting Democratic candidates like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama to becoming a vocal Trump supporter, Hogan's political journey reflected his personal growth and changing perspectives. His theatrical speech at the Republican National Convention, where he ripped off his shirt to reveal a Trump van's tank top and proclaimed, "Let Trumpomania run wild, brother," became one of the most talked about moments of the entire event, showing that even in his 70s, Hogan could still captivate an audience. When that final bell rang for Terry Jean Bollea on July 24, 2025, it marked the end of an era that will never be replicated. The Bodycam footage that's now going viral serves as a stark reminder that even our most immortal heroes are ultimately human. But Hogan's legacy extends far beyond the controversies and scandals. It's about a man who transformed himself from an insecure teenager into a global icon, made mistakes, faced the consequences, and ultimately found redemption through faith and genuine efforts to make amends. So there you have it, the complete, unfiltered truth about Hulk Hogan's death and the viral Bodycam footage that's dividing the wrestling world. We've seen the shocking details of his final moments, the explosive reactions from wrestling legends and political figures, his incredible rise from a fat, insecure kid to a global icon, the scandals that nearly destroyed him, and ultimately, his redemption story that defined his final years. Whether you remember him as the red and yellow hero who taught millions to train, say their prayers, and eat their vitamins, or as the controversial figure who struggled with his own demons, one thing remains undeniable: Hulk Hogan's impact on professional wrestling and popular culture will echo through the ages. The viral footage may be disturbing and controversial, But it's also a reminder that behind every larger-than-life character is a human being with flaws, struggles, and ultimately, the capacity for redemption. The wrestling world will never be the same without the Hulkster, but his legacy, both the triumphs and the mistakes, will continue to influence generations of fans and performers. As Hogan himself might say, what you gonna do when the memories of Hulkamania run wild on you, brother? What's your take on this viral bodycam footage? Do you think it should have been filmed and shared, or was it an invasion of privacy during a tragic moment? And how do you remember Hulk Hogan, as the heroic champion of your childhood or as the complex, flawed human being who made serious mistakes but ultimately sought redemption? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and want to hear your perspective on this controversial story. If you found this deep dive into Hulk Hogan's life and death as shocking as I did, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell because next week, I'm breaking down another wrestling legend's untold story that's even more controversial than this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, brother.